All right, so I want to talk today about my experiences with hypnosis and how I used it to get rid of some really bad habits. Just a disclaimer, this is the way I used it. I don't know if it's going to be helpful for everybody else the way it was for me. And I'm not sure if it is for everybody. I've accessed it every single time from the same person, the same provider here in Warsaw, Poland. Even before I lived here, like when I still lived in the UK, I would travel here to to see family and stuff, but also to get a session from him. So this particular topic that I want to talk about is about quitting smoking cigarettes, which, at the moment I'm 32. I smoked my first cigarette when I was about 14. Yeah, growing up in Warsaw, it's a whole thing. And I quit smoking last year. I did switch from the old school real cigarettes to these devices with the heating thingy. It's called ICOS or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still disgusting. So the first disclaimer was that. Second disclaimer is that as a patient, as a user of the service, you are informed that you should be doing 2 to 3 sessions to fully work through your addiction. And to be absolutely honest with you, I thought I was so fucking amazing that I did one and it helped. So this happened to me in both cases. So my first addiction and the oldest addiction was smoking tobacco, right? And this one was tackled much later. But I believe that was year 2021. So, ooh, yeah, like 5 years ago, which I'm very proud of, I stopped smoking weed due to hypnosis. At first, I quit immediately afterwards, and then I think it took me about 3 months before I got back to smoking again, and then I quit for good later on. But how this happened was I changed things within me, but I didn't change my surroundings. So at the moment, I was in a very codependent relationship where there was a lot of substance abuse, let's say. And so when I expressed wanting to smoke, I was met with, yes, let's do it, rather than, no, you worked so hard, So obviously, that's on me, right? So I learned the lesson. I got hypnotized again later on, and ever since that time, I have not touched weed ever again. And that was, I believe, a few months afterwards. Like maybe I went back within 2 to 3 months of smoking again, and that's when I actually, yeah, that's a different story. But I was very grateful that I got to change my surroundings after that, right? So that relationship fell apart. I moved to Poland for a little while. During COVID, I was working from home, so literally working from where I come from, and that was very helpful. But yeah, so this one shows that it really took me 2 times to fine tune the process. However, with cigarettes, this is where I want to be super specific and be very accountable, especially to myself, right? So I did hypnosis last year. I believe that was March. As well, yeah, it's March right now. So that's just what I do, I guess. And then I was very happy not smoking for a long time. Even when I traveled, even when I partied, when I had some wine or whatever, I would still feel like, oh, maybe it would feel nice, but then I didn't. I really held off for, I think until the end of the year nearly. Then I went away for a holiday. I smoked some real cigarettes. I didn't really like them that much, but it was just like, oh, I'm on holiday. It's fun. I'm not really like, I'm not gonna get into the habit of smoking again. It's just like, having a drink in Istanbul. Everybody's smoking. It's nice. Don't do that. Don't do that. But okay, yeah. Like I knew what I was doing, obviously. So, um, so we are in March right now, and I went back to smoking by the end of December this past year, so 2025. I was coming out of my seasonal depressive episode, let's say, and I felt like, oh, I just want a little something for myself, and. At first it was like, oh, I went to an event, I had a few drinks, I pulled out the device, the one that you have to, it's not like just lighting up a cigarette, it's a whole procedure, you have to charge it and everything. It's a whole shebang, right? But then, like, I started feeling like, oh, I just need a little bit here and there. Like, I would wake up, have my breakfast, and I would start smoking before I went to the gym, and I was like, this is I think I've lost control again. So by the time January started, I was like, okay, it's been like 2 weeks. I'm getting like my watch is telling me my heart rate changed, my resting heart rate changed, and something's not right. So I'm like, yeah, I need to take it under control. And I was like, okay, I'll make an appointment. So I did that, and yeah, the appointment was 2 days ago. So I'll explain how the appointment actually looks and why it's so effective. But obviously, it's not just the appointment. You need to remain accountable, and I wasn't. But it's a process, right? Oh. Yawning means there's a change of energy, a release, right? So nice. I guess my nervous system got the message this time, huh? So let me explain a little bit how this appointment went, because I think it's quite interesting that this takes anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, and the hypnosis part is actually, I think, the shortest out of all of it. So at first we took about 2 hours to talk and work through everything that, not everything, but like the biggest themes of what happened within the last year, and how I got back to smoking, which I kind of told you about, but also some things in between. So maybe some relationship disappointments or some like work stuff. And the energetics of all of this. And I took a lot of notes, and I think I'm not gonna share these notes because this is a whole separate topic, and I would like to remain on the topic of hypnosis itself. However, I really appreciate the way this was structured, and I think, at some point I was looking at different practitioners when I still lived in England, and I thought maybe I could use my how do you call that, my insurance that I had from work to do it there, and I was like, how come does the visit last like just 1 hour? Like I remember my visits taking 4 hours. And so, yeah, it's a lot of value, and it's not just, just one thing. You're really tackling a lot of things during these meetings, and, it's not cheap. I think it's actually on the more expensive side, but I'm not even gonna try and count how much money it's actually saved me, since I don't smoke weed or cigarettes anymore, right? So, yeah, there is no price on that at all. I could, but I don't want to. But I used to smoke weed every single day, morning till evening. Turns out I had ADHD that was just very severely unmedicated, and I didn't know then. But with cigarettes, yeah, let's not even go into these costs, right? Um, so yeah, the preparation is, as I said, about 2 hours, and yeah, we went deep into a lot of topics. And I love the way the therapist broke them down. We talked a little bit about nervous system, but in a very different way than usual. So, how you're like taught right now, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, but the general trend is that you need to relax your nervous system to allow to receive and this and that, and none of this worked for me. And obviously I'm very tightly wired. um but I've done a lot of work on my nervous system, and it still wasn't clicking. And I really loved the way we got um, to an advice, which is actually not yeah, keep doing whatever you're doing, but your nervous system cannot change its main sort of signature. Like, its signature is either you're a giver or receiver, so you can't keep getting mad that people come to you and put their hands out and ask you to give stuff to them if this is what you were born to do, right? So yeah, you can relax your body all you want and think you're a priestess or a goddess, but your body doesn't know, like, it's not connecting, right? So instead of like affirming or pretending, or yeah, doing all of these, pulling your ears and stuff, and like pulling your tongue, yeah, do things that help your body to relax, but confuse the universe. So start acting out of character. And I really love this advice. Like, yeah, I was ranting a little bit about, it's annoying how men are very easy to, like, quick and to reach their arms up and ask you to do stuff, but then they don't really, I don't want to repeat the story. But I'm sure if you're a woman and if you've been single in the past few years, you've noticed that they have no problem asking you for shit, to send you something, to do something for them, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, it was very annoying to me. And what therapists brought up is also that this creates conflict, and conflict will never get you where you want. And it's not about the conflict between you and the other person, it's about the conflict within. So then you're not really acting out of your purpose, out of your nature. So this is where things are just not aligned. And the whole idea of acting out of the script was lovely. Like, it's just like, yeah, this one guy asked me, like, oh, why don't you fly to this other city for my birthday? And we've only talked for like a few minutes. I've never seen him in my life. He's never seen me in his life. So obviously he thinks I'm like, obviously he thinks I'm an idiot, a piece of meat, and I want to shoot him. That's my first thoughts. And I'm like, yeah, so what would you have done in my place? And the therapist says, and he's a man, and he says, yeah, you should have just said yes, gotten him to buy you the ticket, and just not go. And I was like, oh, oh, oh. So this is like, I really like the little winks over there. Or the whole thing of men asking you, oh, send me a picture of yourself. I'm like, you've seen my pictures. Like, can you stop asking me for shit? I liked his perspective. He said, like, obviously this is all they're taught to do, and they see your signature as a giver, and they are always in the receiving mode. So obviously they'll come to your shop if your shop says you give stuff away, and then you get angry because you don't want to do it, but your body remembers only that. So this is what you give out. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't want to believe in that, but it's true. So he's like, if somebody asks you to send you a picture, send them a picture of fucking scrambled eggs, send them a picture of a pigeon. Just like, fuck with everybody, start fucking with everybody with their minds, and just give them what they want, but give them something different, and just shock everybody. And this is your way to giving something to yourself instead, so then you can be in a receiving mode. never ever have heard of something like this before, but I really enjoyed it. Um, so yeah, we talked a lot about stuff like this, but let's actually move on to the hypnosis part because that's I guess that's what we wanted to talk about. Um, and so yeah, basically the procedure is that the therapist sits behind you in a chair and starts talking, and like they relax you down. So it's basically like you're so relaxed you can't even move, your eyes can't open. It's like you're fully conscious, but you're just like just fully like you're about to fall asleep. So the part of your mind that's always thinking and analyzing and planning and making sense out of things is slowly like going back, and instead the the one that's sort of imagining things and good with creativity and your emotions and stuff, and the deeper self is like coming to the front, right? So so we did that, I'm all relaxed, blah blah blah. And then um after I don't know how long, after a while of like, it's very like you keep going deeper and deeper in this relaxation, you start to going towards the first memory. No, oh, I remember, this is how it happened. So you sort of, this is how he does it, and obviously it wasn't always the same with other sessions that I've done, but this is the one I remember right now. So he made me visualize a sky with nice clouds, with clean clouds, and also like clean as in like white clean clouds, like it's a it's a clear sky, no raining. And then he also asked me to see if there are any dark clouds and where they are and describe them, and to pick the biggest one and describe it to him, like how it feels, how big it is, and all that. So, what type of feeling is this cloud? Is this cloud representing in your body, in yourself? And so, to me, that feeling was, and it's not really a feeling, but that's how I felt. It was disrespect. So he sort of transported me in my mind to the first time that I've ever felt this way. And god damn, it was a bit traumatic. So I don't think I'm going to go very deep into that story exactly. However, it has to do with me being in middle school and being absolutely fucking tormented by my boyfriend at the time. Yeah, if you're sensing a pattern, there was a pattern in the past, and it took me a while to become conscious of it. That was I think the first, that was the first guy that was a tough soldier that I needed to slay. It took me a while because I had no idea what I was dealing with, but yeah. um, the scene was him literally cursing me, and verbally abusing me outside of my window, and I was like clueless. I was just like, I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was like, I was begging my parents to take me to a different school because this is like, we went to the same class. I was like, I felt hopeless. I didn't know what was going on. Nobody even told me like how to react to this. So obviously we went into the meaning of this whole situation, and how this feeling of being disrespected was actually just masking the feeling of terrifying fear. Obviously, I was scared as hell. I didn't know what was going on. I was frozen. It was really really sad. Um, so we kind of went into processing that fear. I'm trying to remember like the exact process. I'm not going to share it, but what I really loved about the process is that at some point you sort of um, take that fear and that feeling of disrespect or whatever you're dealing with, and you give it a shape, like you turn it into an object. What's really trippy, like I remember doing this before, but I never really thought of a dagger before. Um, and this is interesting because then, like, and I was thinking of a dagger, like a tattoo shaped dagger, and I do have that tattoo. So I'm not sure in what way it's actually connected. I forgot to even talk to the therapist about this. Um, so yeah, like I would go and process this with my inner self, with my inner child, with my like with my family members and stuff. Um, and there was a little bit of a healing chamber, I would say. Um, there was a dissolving, there was a, like some sort of a forgiveness to people around me that they didn't help me at the time. Um so so that was quite interesting. And then later on, I think, in obviously I'm missing a lot of steps, but the one that really stayed with me was that by the end of the process, I was in this beautiful, filled with light room, and I was asked to look downstairs, and I was told that downstairs there's a bunch of people who are smoking cigarettes, and how do they look to me? And I saw like this group of very anxious, wired people just like doing circles and like walking around, like pacing and stuff, like, so much tension. And I was like, shit, I don't want to be like them. um but yeah, at some point also I had to give a symbol to the cigarettes as well, which turned out to be a frying pan. And so I would go into a process of explaining to others in my life why I don't need the frying pan. And like there was a whole process of like letting go of the frying pan, uh, which was funny because at some point, obviously, he was guiding me through it, and as he would say, like, he would make me repeat a sentence. It was like, "Dear frying pan, I don't need you in my life." I think he broke character for a little while, which is, I enjoy it. I enjoy it when therapists break their characters because of me. um, so the interesting bit is that while we were talking for the first 2 hours, I had a craving to smoke while we were in the hypnosis, which hasn't happened before. I had a craving to smoke. I It's crazy because I've never actually, despite having smoked for so many years, like, I don't know, I don't even want to go there, like 16 years with on and off. I've never actually felt like I want to smoke. It was just like, if I was busy, it wouldn't come to me. But this was like, it was really clawing and trying to hold on to me. And I was like, we were nearing to the end of the process, and I was like, shit, I still feel it. And for the first time ever, I felt like, you know what, I could just go outside and smoke again. I still have the device. Um, I still have, hold on, somebody's calling me. I still have the device. I still have the cigarettes, all that. I might as well just come back and, just do another one of these. You can pay. Just do it. And I was like, shut up. Uh, yeah, I could see this old me really trying to stay. But yeah, by the end of the process, it was like this tension that you feel when you want to smoke. It was smaller and smaller and smaller. Um, After everything, he led me out of the relaxation. He brought me back to the room. We spoke for another like half an hour or so. We took notes of everything. Um, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna smoke. I'm not gonna smoke. Uh, it was the it was not as hard coming back home. I even went to my neighbor and gave away my device and stuff, which was funny. Um, like, yeah, she was happy to receive it. Maybe I should have like thrown it away, but it was expensive, and if she still wants to smoke, I guess, I don't know. I didn't really think much of it. Maybe it wasn't a good choice, but you know what? I did what I did. Um, but yeah, waking up yesterday was like, I want to smoke. It's tough. I'm like, yeah, I think it's the first time I'm actually fighting it for real, you know? Um, but at the same time, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Um, I do feel like I was programmed now, I was reprogrammed to think about this and think like, this is just my brain wanting a little treat. And it's not even a treat, it's disgusting. But it's like, I'm actually the one in control, so I didn't feel in control in the past. And now I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Like, what do you mean you want to? I don't care what you want. I know better. I'm the one, like, pulling the strings, right? So yeah, I to bring it to bring it together to land somewhere. Um, it took me 2 attempts to stop smoking weed for good. Um, and I am 100% sure I will not do it ever again. Um, I know it's not for me. I know it's good for some other people, but it's not for me. However, I really hope it's the same case with smoking cigarettes or tobacco or whatever it is. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do hypnosis. I don't think I could have done it without it. Mm. Maybe maybe it's the whole ritual of severing the ties with it. I don't know, but I know there is actual. I mean, hypnosis is a medical um, tool. I would say, yeah, it's like it's recognized internationally, um, and it is helpful. I'm not sure if it's for everybody, but if you're struggling and you don't know how to stop something, I think it's worth a try. It's worth a try because even the fact that I wouldn't smoke for a year and then I went back for a few months, I knew what to do again and how to stop it, and it taught me so much. Even if you were going to stop smoking weed for 3 months and then you had to repeat the process, yeah, but you gain 5 years addiction free. So yeah, I think it's very important that you try to do something. And I really hope this is my last time. uh, I do feel like my mind is still, integrating everything that happened during that meeting. So I sort of also wanted to solidify it. Um, I guess I hadn't realized how much of an impact this boyfriend from middle school had on me until now. Like I did work through it multiple times, but um, this plain feeling of disrespect is something that I brought on to as a trigger to my day to my daily life to till today. That's what I meant. And I really hope it was left over there as well in that space during hypnosis, because I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live affected by a horrible 15-year old fucking loser. Yeah. um I really hope that me from the past got a bit of healing as well. But let's not talk about time travel today, because maybe that's a different topic for a different day. Yeah, very proud of myself, um, today and last year and 5 years ago for trying something new, trying to get help where I couldn't get help any other way, and I or other things weren't helping. Yeah, good job.